Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a very special Little Nightmares 2 theory video. Today, we're going to be talking about the secret ending in Little Nightmares 2. So before we go any further, there are of course going to be spoilers in this video. So if you want to experience it yourself, you can stay for the first part of the video where we discuss how to get it, but it's not necessarily important. I mean, there are many guides out there already on how to get the items in collectibles. So go away, go and do that, or stay for the little first part of this video. But let's try and explain what happens and what it means in the secret ending. So, how to get the ending. So before we actually get into the secret ending, I thought I'd just tell you how to actually get the secret ending. And it goes as follows. Just collect all the glitch kits in each of the chapters. You can find your progress on the chapter selection screen. After you get all the glitches, play the game like normal or skip it to chapter 5. But then once you get to the end, you will get the secret ending. So, what happens? So we get a shot of Mono becoming the Thin Man, and the scene ends as usual with the camera panning outwards from the door. But after the camera fades, the music stops, and we're greeted with a very familiar room and some noticeable sounds. The room has 2 chairs and a TV, and the TV looks to be in use. We can tell this by not only the sound coming through the transmission, but the fact 6 portals through it. Interestingly enough, this TV doesn't break when 6 leaves it, so the signal hasn't been fully lost from the tower. Keep that in mind for later. 6 lands face down, and after a second pulls herself up in her head and has a little look around. She seems lost, as if she doesn't belong here. It's worth noting you can pan the camera around and have a look at the scene. If you do this, you'll notice a very interesting flyer on the floor, and it's of the Maw, and also another interesting item to the right. I'll let you find that one. We know this because of the Maw's signature look. This isn't the first time we've seen the rest of the world knows about the Maw either. It's been scattered through Little Nightmares 2 and Very Little Nightmares. But what's really interesting is what happens after. After 6 gets up and has a look around, and static starts to play, coming into shot, it's none other than Dark 6. So I suppose we're going to actually have to start calling Dark 6 Glitch 6 now. I know it doesn't have the same ring to it, but I digress. The interesting part of all this is when Glitch 6 looks at the Maw's flyer, as if she is suggesting to go there after this 6 begins to feel the hunger, and thus the start of the journey to the Maw for 6. The ending suggests that the game is in fact a prequel to Little Nightmares, and is set before 6's journey through the Maw. It seems like Glitch 6 is the one suggesting they go to the Maw. Although 6 comes from the TV portal, I don't necessarily think that it's taken them straight to the Maw. I think this is why Dark 6 looks at the flyer on the floor and suggests that 6 is now going to find a way to the Maw, and the Maw has become her target. It's at this point I theorise that 6 and the Ferryman might have their stories intertwined. 6 has to get aboard the Maw because of the hunger, but how? With only one person that can take her. It's from our understanding, after many theories, that the Ferryman works for the Maw in some sense, bringing the Maw new children to inhabit it. But once they're on the Maw, the Ferryman has done his part. And if you don't believe me about the Ferryman being the next part of the secret ending, all you have to do is look at the Little Nightmares comics. One of the first ones. It tells us how the Ferryman obtained 6 after pointing her out in the comics in the city. Now, an interesting note here is that I don't necessarily think 6 is in the Pale City now. I know, it sounds really conflicting, but the residents of the Pale City are obviously very skinny, malnourished, they've got melted faces, and obviously from the comics we see that the citizens of whatever city 6 has stepped into don't have that same appearance, and in fact, they look nothing like the Pale City residents. So it's safe to assume that we aren't in the Pale City, or we're definitely further away. But 6 ventures on, and of course, the Ferryman finds her in the city, and takes her onto the boat to the Maw. But why doesn't 6 not bother and just do something else? Well, this is where I think the hunger plays a part. I do believe that the hunger has been introduced by the Fin Man, and whatever happened at the signal tower. As throughout the whole game of Little Nightmares 2, Six hasn't had one of her hungry moments at all. The last time we see Six acting just like a normal child was before the Fin Man captured her, and left nothing but a glitch in her replacement. Now that Dark Six, aka Glitch Six, appears, she gets those hunger pains again. Could this be her burning hunger for what is on the moor, power, the lady? But another question is, does the Fin Man have a connection to the moor? I mean, we have some interesting connections to the lady from the signal tower, where the Fin Man resides, Monster 6. Let's begin with the first big one, the music. The same theme that we can hear from Six. I do find it really intriguing that Six's theme and the lady's humming sounds are very similar. Just one seems slower than the other. Also, another interesting detail is the music box particle effect. When Mono hits the axe towards the end of their fight, we see a certain type of particle effect leak the music box. Interestingly enough, Mono's battle with the Fin Man also reveals the same sort of particle effect too. And here is where it gets interesting. It's also the same particle effect when we see Six use the mirror on the lady to defeat her. Saying that, we can also notice that the handle, which would usually spin clockwise when playing that same theme and keeping the power in the box, but once it's hit, it starts to spin anti-clockwise and unleashes this hunger. I do theorize that the music box has something to do with the unlocking of the hunger in Six. This could be why Six seems so angry once Mono saves her. The other connection we could make is the paintings in the room that Six was kept in. The same painting we can see in the lady's quarter in the last chapter of Little Nightmares. I do wonder why the painting in Six's room has the face scratched off it. But this painting, the one with the scratched face, stays hidden in her room, hidden behind another painting. Whereas the lady hangs a very similar paintings with no scratches on the eyes up for everyone to see. And I don't think it's just a case of putting it away for storage, I think it's more than that. Also, another interesting thing to mention is the dolls in the room. It's the same dolls that we see the lady stroking in the Residence DLC, and the suitcase Six wakes up to in the start of Little Nightmares. This room seems to give us hints of Six's future. We even see a painting of Six crouched down in her yellow raincoat. I can't see whether she's eating something or holding something, but if I was to take a guess from what I could see, I would assume that she's eating something. It's an interesting way to end Little Nightmares 2, and it gives us that link between the Pale City and the Moor, and Little Nightmares and Little Nightmares 2. Now, thanks to the secret ending, we know it is a prequel, and at this point where Six gains her hunger from. The interesting part now is we have to have a place for Very Little Nightmares 2. Thanks to this ending, we can assume that the timeline still goes Very Little Nightmares 2, and Little Nightmares. But even with this, Tarzia and Bandai still have a gap to fill, and that's the time between Little Nightmares 2 and Little Nightmares 1. And I hope one day we'll get an answer, and I hope one day that we will eventually bump into the Ferryman and the Wax Bowman. But I'm happy with what we have, and that secret ending was definitely something that's very valuable to our theory crafting and timeline building. So to recap, ladies and gentlemen, we know it is a prequel, and we know what actually happens after this part of the secret ending as well, where Six meets the Ferryman. And it also does open the possibility that there is a connection between Six and the lady, whether that being the same person, but it's an interesting theory nonetheless. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you think in the comments below. Make sure to hit subscribe if you're loving the Little Nightmares 2 content, because we have got plenty of them to come, believe me. But with that being said, I'd like to take a quick moment to thank all the members of the channel. All the members are on the screen right now. And thank you to everyone that is supporting the channel, no matter how you're doing it. Thank you ever so much for supporting it. I am super grateful, and it doesn't go unnoticed, believe me. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm really interested to hear what you think about the secret ending and the theory today that's been presented. Again, more coming soon, and with that being said, I wish you the best morning, day, or night wherever you are in the world. Stay safe, and I'll see you all in the next Little Nightmares 2 theory video. Bye!